we're at Gluten-free, a gluten-free bakery here in Milan. You know, we've been to so many different pastry shops and whatnot, and I thought we'd do one for folks who are gluten-free. So this place, just right around the corner, I mean, it's like a 12-minute walk from our hotel, so we decided to start our day here. And I walked in and I was so pleasantly surprised with the range of offerings that they have. Sometimes gluten-free bakeries, they don't have a lot to offer, a lot of different things, simply because their clientele isn't that big, so they can't have a huge offering. But man, this place was jamming busy, and they have so much in here. So on the bakery side, they had pistachio cream tarts, they had cookies, they had cakes. We got a little chocolate chip cookie that was almost like a biscuit, you know, it was like crumbly and really, really tasty. Then they have the bakery section, just loaves of gluten-free bread, which is not something that you often see in gluten-free bakeries. That looked really good too. And then they have the prepared food. And there were arancini, gluten-free. So they had gluten-free breadcrumbs on the outside, looked really, really good. They had focaccia, they had a potato-topped focaccia that looked outstanding. And then they have little pizzelles, little mini pizzas. And we just got the marinara one, and it was divine, so good, with just the tomato sauce and oregano smeared on top. Karen compared it to Di Palmieri's in Rhode Island. They make something called pizza strips, and I would say it's similar, but you know, pizza strips generally have the tomato sauce that's piled higher. You know, you get a thicker tomato sauce on top of your pizza strip than you get here. Both really good. This was outstanding, in fact. I mean, I was so pleasantly surprised, because a lot of times with gluten-free, you can't get the rise. You know, it gets crispy, so it becomes more of a cracker. It's difficult to make just a loaf of bread with the rise in it, and it's difficult to make the pizza dough with a rise in it. And these guys did it. They did a great job with it. So I don't know. We may come back here, you know, tomorrow or Wednesday when we're leaving, just to get some of this stuff to take back with us to Portugal. But anyway, I would say great way to start the day, great way to start our day, and looking forward to the rest of it here in Milan. This is Cafe Isola. We're in the heart of Chinatown in Milan. This place has been around for 125 years. There's construction going on behind me, so you're going to hear us, I don't know what he's got going on there, a tile saw or something. But anyway, this street that we're on is lined with Chinese restaurants. Little hole-in-the-wall places that are barely more than galley kitchens with service windows on the street. There's bigger restaurants where you can sit down as well, but it's just kind of amazing the number of Chinese restaurants. This place, though, has been here since almost the beginning of when this became Chinatown, since the late 1800s. It's been about 5 owners, maybe. The current owner, Luca, a wonderful gentleman. He told us about the wines that they have here. Their selection is incredible, from all over Italy and then all over Europe as well. He showed me a couple Spanish and Portuguese wines. He had some Barolos and several wines by the glass. We had a Barbera and a Nebbiolo. They were both outstanding, terrific wines, really, really good. And then he gave us a couple of plates with some bread topped with some little spreads, vegetable spreads, and then some veggies and some olives. Fantastic. I love this place because not only the selection, but just how welcoming this place is. And then as we were getting ready to leave, well, we couldn't leave because Luca brought out some pieces of sourdough bread topped with the most incredible tomatoes that I've had probably in 2 or 3 years. So flavorful, just topped with some olive oil and some salt. Incredibly delicious. I can't recommend this place highly enough. If you're coming here, come to Chinatown. It's super fascinating here in Milan how multicultural this place is, how many people from different places there are. This Chinatown has been here for over 125 years. It's still going strong. An incredible array of restaurants for you to visit. And then right in the middle of it is this beautiful Italian wine bar. Do not miss it when you come to Milan. It's a gem. This is Otto. We're right on the edge of Chinatown here. And I've been wanting to come here for a little while. Haven't made it out here yet, but today's the day. So walked in, asked for a glass of wine, glass of red wine. This is their house red. It's a bio red, organic. It's nice. Got some tannins to it. Full-bodied. Spoiled in Italy for the wine, I think. And then I said, well, do you know where we can get some good food? Because all they had was like pastries sitting up on the counter, and I didn't need any more pastry in my life. And he said, yeah, here. I said, okay. Didn't see a menu, see anything. He pulled it up on his phone and showed me the menu right at the counter, and said, okay, there's this. He went through all the stuff. I said, oh, that salad sounds really good. So he got me this salad, and it's got roasted carrots on there. This is like a watercress. I love watercress because you get that slightly peppery flavor in there, not like arugula, but really flavorful. And you get giant trucks going behind you. And then it's got a little guacamole on the top. These avocados are fresh. There's a little scallion in there, I think. Olive oil. Delicious. Some nectarines. Okay. So good. And then a little cup of watermelon. This is a perfect break that we needed in the middle of the afternoon. It's raining outside, so we'll sit here, we'll wait out the storm, and drink some wine, enjoy a salad, and I'll feel good about myself. So we're back right across the street from the La Scala Opera House, and behind me is the famous Leonardo da Vinci sculpture. We went to Peck, which is a foodie mecca pilgrimage spot in Milan. As soon as we walked in, Karen said, this reminds me of Venda. When we lived in Rhode Island, up on Federal Hill, which is the Italian part of Providence, they had this place called Venda. And there's a little cafe in there, but you would go there and buy all kinds of incredible, authentic Italian products. They had one of the best cheese shops I've ever seen in my life. And, you know, if you wanted to get fresh pasta and things like that, you would go to Venda. And this is like that. Peck is like that. They've got prepared food, canned food, sauces, meats, cheese, pasta, everything under the sun that you can imagine. High-end gourmet food. So, ain't cheap. They also have a little wine bar up on the terrace. They've got a little cafe in there, and I guess they've got a restaurant too. But we got a few things for takeaway because we just wanted a little snack for this afternoon. So, what did we get? Well, I got these olives. Look at the size of these things. They're monsters. Marinated in garlic, I guess. Man. Incredibly flavorful and meaty. Spicy a little bit. Wow. Those olives are great. Then we got a little baked ricotta. Now, I've only ever seen this. See how they make the ricotta cheese and then they bake it in the oven to give it this caramelization. I've only ever seen this in Sicily, but you know. Oh man. That is unbelievable. So, when you bake that, removes a little bit of the whey, a little bit of the liquid from the ricotta. And it also caramelizes a little bit. So you get a little bit more sweetness, a little more chewiness in the ricotta. That is so good. And then we got a little bit of goat's milk cheese. This is aged a little bit. Okay. Pungent. As soon as we opened the container, Karen and I were both like, whoa. You know, you can really smell it. It's like opening the barn door. You know, it really comes at you. Those are really, really good. Wow. And then as a little bit of a treat, this is called confetti. So if you see like almonds in Italy that are covered with pink and white candy, they're called confetti, or blue candy called confetti. These are pistachio covered in chocolate and candy. And that's a really special treat. So good. Just needs a glass of wine to go with it, but I'll make do with my water, I guess. This is Cafe Piccio, a very lively bar that attracts the younger crowd, a boisterous crowd here in Milan. This place has been here for over 50 years. And to call it an old school bar would be underselling it. It is very old school, but very, very cool. I love the guy behind the counter. He wanted to know where I was from. When I told him that we live in Portugal, but we're from the US, he goes, east side or west side? Which I thought was kind of funny. So what did I get? Well, Karen got a limoncello, because she's been dying for a limoncello ever since we got here. So she got her limoncello. I got a Negroni Sabaccio, which means a broken Negroni. This drink was invented in Milan in 1968, not at this bar, at a place called Bar Basso in Milan. And so he made that drink, the customer loved it, and now for the past 50 some odd years, 55 years, it has been a hit here in Milan. And this bar happens to serve it. I saw it on the menu and I said, well, I'll get it. Get it in a plastic cup. That is strong, but very good, very nice drink. And if you're looking for a budget option, drinks are cheap here. These were $3.50. I don't know where else you're finding cocktails for $3.50 in Milan, but we did it at Cafe Piccio. It's very good, fun little place to come and kick back and enjoy a cheap cocktail. We're in the Milan Centrale train station, and you might not think of a train station, especially one as huge as this, as a place for fine dining, but this is the Milan Centrale Mercato, and it's a food hall with tons and tons of stalls with pop-up places to eat. And my eyes just opened wide when I saw this place called Tartufo. Translates to truffle. Now, you probably don't, if you just know me from watching this video, you probably don't know that I wrote a book about truffles. It's a novel, it's a work of fiction, but it's essentially about truffles. So when I see a place dedicated to truffles, I get very excited. Now, it's the middle of the summer here in Milan. This is not typical truffle season. That's in the fall and the winter in the northern part of Italy when you get the famous white truffles from Alba the famous Perigord black truffles. What you get now is something called a summer truffle. Not quite as fragrant, not quite as flavorful, but still delicious. So you get that musky, nutty, garlicky aroma, and put it on top of eggs for 20 euros. Now, if eggs for 20 euros sounds like a lot, actually that's a very reasonable price for this amount of truffles. I mean, he started shaving them and he just kept shaving truffle, shaving truffle. He shaved like half a truffle onto this thing. It's a lot of truffle. So, and then I get a little salad, a little crostini with it. And then of course I got a glass of white wine from another place down here. So let's give it a try. So you can see that egg is like sunny side up. The yolk is still runny. And this is a classic combination of truffles. Truffles and egg go really well together because what you want to do with truffles is you don't cook them necessarily. I could go deep into the weeds about the history of truffles and how they used to cook with them, but they don't anymore. But anyway, today you generally shave it on top of warm pasta with butter or with eggs, or you can use it to infuse other products. Truffle butter, for example. We won't get into truffle oil because truffle oil is garbage and generally doesn't have any truffles in it. So let's have a bite. Wow. So, like I said, not as pungent, not as flavorful as a winter truffle, but still really good. And the warmth from the eggs really brings out the aroma and the flavor. That's why you put it on warm things like pasta, like eggs. I would love to come here in the winter and see what it's like when they've got Alba truffles. They're from Piedmont, which is the next region over. I'm sure they get them fresh and delicious, but summer truffles, really good. And, you know, we're gonna wait for our bus to go out to the airport, but man, this sure beats like grabbing a bag of chips out of the vending machine, or like I saw earlier, people waiting in line at Starbucks. I mean, this place is busy. The longest line for anywhere in the train station I saw was waiting for Starbucks. Come on, people. No Starbucks when you're in Italy. I mean, come on. You've got the best espresso in the world here. You don't need a latte with extra pump and whipped cream. Anyway, that's the end of that Starbucks rant. I'm going to enjoy this delicious food and finish up our beautiful trip here in Milan. Well, that's going to do it for our trip to Milan and this series of videos on Milan. You know, the whole reason we came here in the first place was to see the Bruce Springsteen concert that was last night in Monza, which is a city just a few miles north of here. And it was a great show, really great. The thing was, you know, we left like almost 4 hours before the start of showtime, and it took us almost that length of time just to go a few miles because we had to take the metro, the subway, and then we had to take a train up to Monza, and then we had to stand in a cattle line to get a bus to the venue. And then we had to walk a couple of miles just to get to the entrance of the venue and then through a series of security checks. And the reason I tell you that is not to complain, because it was a great show, but to tell you that it was hot and humid yesterday, and spending 4 hours to get there. Before the show even started, we were tired. But then Bruce came on and he just, boom, rolls into that first song, No Surrender, from Born in the USA. and the energy just fills the entire stadium. 70,000 people were watching. There are no seats. It's an open air venue with no seating. So you got to stand the whole time. And I was like, how are we going to stand for 3 hours? But Bruce came on and I was like, he's 73 years old. I'm not 73, I'm younger than that. But if he can be running around the stage and singing his heart out and playing guitar like a madman, surely I can stand on my 2 feet for 3 hours. So. It was a great show, but we didn't get home until late. And one of the things that I noticed was coming home, it's like midnight, and we're riding on the metro, on the subway, and these young people are getting on, and men and women in their 20s, just gorgeous people, models, basically, wearing gorgeous clothes, perfectly coiffed hair for the men, wearing Armani suits, women wearing cocktail dresses on the subway. Like, it's not something we really see in Lisbon too often. But Milan is a fashion capital, and you do see people who work in the fashion industry, and just in general, people dress very, very well. So I was right at home because obviously I'm a fashionista. And that's the thing about this city. You come to Milan and people expect, at least I did, from a culinary standpoint, for there to be a central cuisine that kind of unifies the city, the region. And there is Milanese cuisine, risotto and gorgonzola cheese and various cuts of meat and whatnot. But it's not the main cuisine here. This is, my friend Jackie explained this to me, and it really rang true when she said it. This is an international city. She's from New York. She's a New Yorker and lived and worked there until she moved to Milan. She's lived here for almost 10 years. So she can draw a straight line from New York to Milan as far as the culture goes. They're both banking centers. They're both fashion capitals. New York is obviously way bigger than Milan. But still, they have that similarity. But the main similarity is they're both fashion cities. And because of that, they're both international cities. That's what I meant to say. They're both international cities. And because of that, you have an influx of people from all over the world coming here. So when you're looking at the cuisine, not only do you get Milan cuisine, but you get pan-Italian cuisine. So there's restaurants from Genoa, which isn't far away. There's Piedmont has a big influence here because it's the next region over. But we see Roman restaurants, Sicilian restaurants. We ate at a restaurant from Sardinia. The guy was very proud from being from Sardinia. So you see all these Italian restaurants from all over Italy, but then you see restaurants from people all over the world, especially Asian. The Chinatown here is massive, and there's tons of Chinese restaurants, but there's also a huge Filipino population, and there's lots of Filipino restaurants. We were going to eat at an Eritrean restaurant the other day. We were just too tired to make it there. Eritrea is from Africa. Italy occupied Eritrea during the fascist period. So there's people from Eritrea here in Milan. We didn't make it to that restaurant. But what this says to me is, first of all, we have to come back. Second of all, it says, if you come to Milan, embrace the international aspect of this city. I think a lot of people, myself included, when you come to a city in Italy, you were like, I want Italian food. But Milan is different in that sense that it's an international city, so embrace that part of it. Come here and enjoy the international vibe here, because it is vibrant and it is worthwhile. So anyway, that's it for this. I'm gonna finish off this wonderful glass of white wine. We're gonna hop on the bus to the airport, fly back home and back to our lives in Portugal. Thanks for watching.